Thursday night special webinar presentation tonight with Rik Deitsch. It's our guest speaker tonight. My name is Steve Gawecki. I'm the president of Lumaxa. Very excited to have you all with us tonight, folks. We've got an exciting webinar tonight as we have a special guest, Rik Deitsch, the CEO of NutraPharma, in the room now to give us some updates and exciting news about things going on with NutraPharma, as well as Nyloxin, Pet Pain Away, and we'll have an opportunity this evening for you to go ahead and chat with the chat moderation following Rik's talk tonight to go ahead and ask him questions directly about our products and things going on with Pet Pain Away and Nyloxin and so forth. So it's really my pleasure to go ahead and make an introduction for Rik tonight. You know, Rik is the CEO of NutraPharma. Rik has been in the biotechnology industry for over 25 years. He's been a chief product formulator for a few different companies, including NutraPharma. He's developed products for other network marketing companies that have done hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. He's an author. He's written a book called Invisible Killers. You can find it on Amazon. And he lectures at universities with students and people in the medical community all over the country. And Rik is just a great guy. He's a huge asset to our company in terms of what NutraPharma provides us with products. These are exclusive products, patented products, and they're really, really brilliant. And we're just so excited to have Rik on the call tonight. So Rik, why don't you go ahead and test your microphone, turn it green, and I'll let you go ahead and take it away. Just give us the update and tell us what's new and exciting within the realm of NutraPharma as it pertains to Nyloxin and Pet Pain Away.
Okay, everybody. I just want to confirm everyone can hear me as I speak.
I can hear you, Shelly. Can you hear Rik? We can hear you, Rik. Take it away. Perfect. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Steve. I want to apologize. I'm a few minutes late. My daughter just had her first soccer playoff game, and it went late and into overtime, and of course, when I have to get home. So I apologize for that. But Steve, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to give people an update. As most of you know, NutraPharma is a biotechnology company, and yes, we have these amazing products. We have Nyloxin. We formerly had a product called Cobroxin on the store shelves, and our newest product is Pet Pain Away. But we also work in drug discovery. We have 21 patents. We have drugs in the pipeline for the treatment of multiple sclerosis, HIV, adrenal neuropathy, rheumatoid arthritis, and pain. And we've been doing a lot of activities behind the scenes moving those projects forward. Just a few months ago, I announced that we had recertified our laboratories to be fully CGMP, which means current good manufacturing practices. We also have current good laboratory practices, and that's going to allow us to move back into clinical studies. And I've been meeting with clinical research groups and organizers. I've been meeting with the FDA consultants to work on our FDA applications. A lot of great things are happening with NutraPharma on the drug discovery side. And it is our expectation that in the next, I'd say certainly within the next 3 months, that you're going to see some FDA filings for NutraPharma as we move back into clinical discovery. Now, what makes all that possible is Lumaxa. Lumaxa has taken our products, Nyloxin and Pet Pain Away, and has brought that out to the world. These are incredible products, but they're products that require a story to be told. There are just so many over-the-counter analgesics, painkillers, and anti-inflammatories that it's very hard for people to differentiate with what's out there in the store shelves. And that's why I love having a group like Lumaxa that can explain the product. So instead of having these on the store shelf, you have a person behind explaining the products. And these products are life-changing. Nyloxin is the only over-the-counter treatment for stage 2 and stage 3 pain. This is pain that is anywhere on a scale of 4 to 10 on a 1 to 10 pain scale. When you have that much pain, normally you're taking opiates. At that point, you have prescription drugs, Percocet, Vicodin, oxycodone, fentanyl, morphine. That's when strong pain drugs are prescribed. And if the strong pain drugs aren't prescribed, you're taking huge amounts of over-the-counter drugs, NSAIDs like ibuprofen, naproxen, that's Motrin, Advil, aspirin, or you're taking acetaminophen, which is Tylenol. And all of those over-the-counter drugs have side effects. None of them are meant to be taken chronically. They're only meant to be taken for short periods of time to deal with traumatic or acute pain. And yet a lot of us, when we have that sort of chronic pain, we will take a bunch of Advil or Motrin or Tylenol on a daily basis. But the NSAIDs, like Advil, Motrin, and aspirin, can cause stomach irritation and stomach upset. They can cause thinning of the blood. They can cause kidney problems and skin problems. And then, of course, acetaminophen, Tylenol, actually has a black box warning from the FDA, warning of liver failure from overdosing on Tylenol. And so many things contain acetaminophen that you have to be careful. You can take so many different medications, all of them containing acetaminophen, and then you wind up overdosing and causing liver damage. None of these issues occur with naloxone. Naloxone is an all-natural homeopathic treatment for pain. It is basically neurotoxins derived from cobra venom, and those neurotoxins go in and block the pain signal all through the body, even in the brain, in the parafascicular nucleus of the brain, and they also act as anti-inflammatories, so they aid in the healing process. And so we have the oral spray and the topical gel. People have felt it's a miracle product in the fact that they've dealt with their pain and their inflammation without the side effects associated with all of those other drugs. Now we know that, but we need to explain that to people. We need to drive them to the website. We need to have them read the literature, and we need them to try it for themselves. And we've said that already with naloxone. But now we've launched Pet Pain Away, and the pet pain market is unbelievable. While I've mentioned dozens of drugs for human pain, there's really nothing for dogs and cats. They have opiates like Demerol and Tramadol, but it really just makes them go to sleep, and they're kind of dopey and can't move around. And then you have NSAIDs for dogs and cats. For cats, all NSAID drugs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, cause kidney failure. So you really don't use those for cats. And then for dogs, they cause all sorts of side effects: nausea, vomiting, bleeding, kidney problems. So when you talk to a veterinarian about something for chronic pain for dogs and cats, they're very interested. And once we launched Pet Pain Away, it was immediately taken up by many veterinarians. We had a veterinarian, and he's been mentioned in some of our press releases. He's just joined our advisory board, Dr. Keith Gordon in New Jersey, and he's already given some amazing testimonials. He had a woman bring in her cat, and the cat had been in such chronic pain for the last 6 months that the recommendation was that it was planning for end of life. They were going to put the cat down. And he said, well, before we do that, why don't we try this one product, this Pet Pain Away, just to try it before, as a last-ditch effort. It took one day, just one day on the Pet Pain Away, and the cat was walking around, jumping up on the couch again, and absolutely amazing. We saved that cat's life, and that was, like I said, mid-December, and the woman said the cat it's taken years off the cat. Basically, it's like the cat was 2 years ago. He's out of pain, the cat is running around the house, and she has her best friend back. Similarly, he treated a dog, a 13-year-old dog with hip dysplasia, a limp, cardiac DZ, a lot of issues, and found even just one day on the Pet Pain Away, and the dog was jumping up and down on the couch. We're already seeing a lot of these videos online with Pet Pain Away. So while I'm incredibly excited about naloxone, and I know how effective naloxone is, it's changed my life. I have chronic back pain, and naloxone has changed my life. There are just so many choices with human pain products. It's a very hard educational process. You got to get people to try it. But with Pet Pain Away, it's a slam dunk. It's so easy to share Pet Pain Away, to get people to use it. Everyone I know has dogs and cats, and when you mention the product to them, and they want to try it right away. So it's been incredibly exciting to launch the Pet Pain Away product. Now, additionally, we are moving into other markets. I did a great conference call for Lumaxa on Tuesday with Japan. We have our first Japanese distributors, and we're going to be working diligently to try to get our products registered in Japan. But it's exciting. You know, Lumaxa is starting to reach across the ocean, and we're getting people in country after country. And we have now a pretty strong presence in the Japanese market. And we've been working, as Nutripharma, we've been working for years to get into India. And we just did. We finally finished all of the regulatory paperwork. We announced it just this morning that we have shipped our first test orders to our importers in India. And what does that mean? That it certainly is opening for Lumaxa, and Lumaxa can have Indian distributors because we'll have the product freely available for resale in India. But we're also going to have retail sellers in India. And the Indian pain market is probably more lucrative than the U.S. chronic pain market for a couple of reasons. First, there's over 250 million middle-class Indians right now, which means pretty much close to the population of the United States are people in India that can afford our product. Second, I'm sure all of you have had trouble explaining cobra venom for treating pain, chronic pain. Cobra venom has been used for well over 100 years in allopathic medicine. It's been used as a pain drug since clinical trials in the 1880s. Over 46 published clinical studies with the use of cobra venom for the treatment of pain and inflammation. And yet when you tell people you have a pain drug and its active ingredient is cobra venom, it raises eyebrows. It's certainly something that bears some sort of follow-up explanation. But when you go to India and you tell someone in India that you have a pain drug and it's derived from cobra venom, they just say, that makes sense. They have no problem with that whatsoever. So they love the product. It makes perfect sense to them. And then lastly, for some reason, Indian doctors do not like opiates. They don't like morphine. They don't like fentanyl. They don't like any opiates. India has the lowest prescription rate for opiates in the entire world. Less than 0.4% of the population gets opiate drugs. When you think about that, they really don't have access to strong medications. So while some Americans who are in chronic pain are fine taking their opiate drugs, their fentanyl, their oxycodone, their Percocet, they don't have that option in India. If you're in really a lot of pain and you go to your doctor, they're going to send you home with aspirin or Tylenol. And so this is a wide open market for Nyloxin. It could become the drug of choice for chronic pain among the entire Indian population. And so we're very, very excited by that. All that's going to do is make Nutripharma a stronger company to help provide even further support for Lumaxa's distributors. So it's very, very exciting what's going on at the company now. And you guys, I want to thank every Lumaxa distributor by providing these products, by promoting these products. You're not only helping people, with their chronic pain and inflammation. You're not just helping their pets. You're not just helping them with a business opportunity. You're moving our clinical pipeline forward, providing treatments, therapies for multiple sclerosis, HIV, rheumatoid arthritis. All these things are a direct result of the actions of Lumaxa distributors. And I'm blown away by the efforts of Lumaxa distributors, and I'm incredibly thankful for your efforts. With that, we're talking about the launch of some new products. We mentioned a little while ago, actually in the fourth quarter, that we'd be working on a detoxification product, and that product is expected to be ready in the spring. It's based on zeolite technology that I've been working on for more than 12 years. And as we get closer to the launch, we'll provide more information. But anyone can feel free to look at the work I've done on zeolites, talk about my book, Invisible Killers. You can go to invisiblekillers.com. It talks about the prevalence of toxins in the environment and how all of us have a toxic body burden, which slows the healing process, leads to aging, stops you from a proper metabolic activity. And when we get rid of those toxins in the body and we do it in a natural way, everything fixes itself. Normal metabolic processes occur unimpeded, and you just feel better. Everything's better. And so as we get closer to the launch, we'll have more and more information on that, more and more materials, but that's going to be an exciting new product for the company. With that, Steve, did you have any questions? Do you want me to go in particular?
Yeah, Rick, great job. No, there's a couple things I was going to ask, and I know that people can, Shelley, if you want to start moderating the chat questions. And gentlemen, if you have questions for Rik about anything regarding pet pain away, naloxone, or any of the announcements he made, just start typing in the chat, and we'll get to you in a moment. Rik, I know. Well, first of all, congratulations to Nutripharma and getting India opened up. I know you've been putting a lot of time and effort into that over the last couple of years, and finally you got across the finish line. So congrats on that. That's an exciting announcement. That's huge. I know that India alone could, help Nutripharma achieve everything that you need to do to get those drugs to market. So that's in the last press release prior to the one today, you had an announcement about a veterinarian coming on your board of advisors or something along those lines. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I had just mentioned that with Pet Pain Away. When we first launched Pet Pain Away, it occurred to us that we didn't have a veterinarian on our medical advisory board. And I had talked to several of them. But Dr. Keith Gordon is actually a friend of a friend, and he was very skeptical when I told him what we were working on with Pet Pain Away. And he said, I really have to see it to believe it. And so we sent him some product when we first actually got in the finished batch, which was December 19th. So we didn't get in the final manufactured batch of Pet Pain Away until mid-December. And we sent it out to him. And immediately he put a dozen animals, nine dogs and 3 cats he put on the Pet Pain Away. And like I said, I gave just 2 examples of the first week. He had given out 1 dog and 1 cat. And everybody has had a response. There was only one person who said they didn't have a response because it wasn't the first day, but within just a few days, the dog was jumping around, the dog's limp went away, and so he's had a really 100% response rate, and he's been blown away. We quoted him when we add him to the medical advisory board. We quoted him, and he says 2 of the owners of patients have already called the product a miracle. He quoted the word miracle. It's just absolutely fabulous. So he's going to continue to work with us. He's working with other veterinarians. We're talking about what comes next. We really believe we'll take over the veterinary market as an over-the-counter treatment for pain and inflammation. But right now we have that one product. It's an oral gel for dogs and cats. But we could certainly make other dosage forms, other flavors. I envision that sometime in the next year or so, we'll probably have little treats, like little chewables for dogs and cats. We can make them different flavors, different shapes. I think it really lends itself to expanding the brand, adding additional SKUs, and really getting the product into wider acceptance. So we're really excited about having him on board as we start to expand that line.
That's fantastic. I know one question that somebody will probably want to ask tonight, and I'll go ahead and ask it for whoever wanted to ask it, and I guarantee it's one that people are thinking about, is there any plans in the works for creating a sampling size of the product for both naloxone and Pet Pain Away? Because it seems like these are products that need to be in people's hands. They need to try it to see how well they work. Is there any plans for creating a sample size portion of naloxone and Pet Pain Away?
Okay. We with Pet Pain Away, we haven't investigated samples yet, but we will. With naloxone, the oral spray, the great majority of people can take up to a week to really see it. That's a sampling product. And remember, it's not really meant for traumatic pain. It's meant for chronic pain. So someone who's had chronic pain, who's had issues for a long time, starts using the naloxone, they're going to find out over 5 to 7 days they're going to feel better and better and better and better. So because of that, it's not really the greatest sampling product. The topical gel, on the other hand, seems to work in the great majority of people. Within 20 minutes, they'll feel some sort of difference. And so we are in the process of getting 2 milliliter samples made, 2 ml samples made of the topical gel. I don't know when that's going to be ready. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a couple of months. But it is something that we're dedicated to doing. I think it's good for sampling for the distributors. It's especially good for sampling in doctors' offices. And so we will be diligently going after that. I've already started working on some artwork for the small samples. And as I said, as we get closer and closer to the launch over the next couple of months, we'll let people know.
How about Canada? Do you have any updates on where Canada is at as far as being open up for distribution?
Yeah, we needed to get a new distributor in Canada who we just signed in. He's in the process of he filled in all the documentation, and we're in the process of getting our DINs, our drug identification numbers. That process should be streamlined. I can't tell you exactly how long it should take, but the consultant up there said it may be as soon as 6 months as a U.S. homeopathic. But we are following up on that. We'll keep people apprised. But it was really because one of the Lumaxa distributors in Canada stepped up and took responsibility and started the registration process. So again, it's Lumaxa distributors. They're showing their ambition and showing their ability to move the needle on this. But I do expect some statement, some idea of movement in Canada in the next 2 months, and we'll make sure that we announce that, we let everybody know. But we could be fully registered as soon as 6 months from now.
Fantastic. I'm sure that's great news to everybody up north of the border there in Canada. So excellent, excellent stuff. Well, guys, help me out here. I mean, I'm asking all the questions here, but this is your moment. This is your opportunity with Rik. Start typing in the
I can read
chat.
some of these
Any
questions that are
comments or
coming up.
questions for Rik? So go ahead and start typing.
Okay, I got some. Someone's asking about sponsoring India contacts, and I don't know how the Lumaxa sponsorship works, but the product is legal in India. It's legal for resale in India, and so if you have contacts in India, you can certainly sign them up. They can get product and they can resell it So it's perfectly legal now to ship it in. It's perfectly legal through customs. And we have all sorts of custom numbers and everything we have to put on the packaging. The goal is eventually to have redistribution in India, which means we would warehouse it there, and that'll save a lot on shipping once we expand it. Okay? Someone's asking if the dog's pain goes away when he takes pet pain away. He's 13 years old. He's jumping around. When he hurt himself without realizing if he has hip dysplasia and a weak back. It's an interesting question. If any of you have used Nyloxin, it's an interesting sensation because it doesn't mask pain. It's not like an opiate. An opiate drug, many drugs that you take, mask pain, and so you can re-injure yourself. What Nyloxin does is a neurotoxin. It truncates the signal through the nerve. So big signals become little signals. A large pain signal becomes a little tiny signal. It doesn't go away. It just becomes bearable. You can handle it. And it also is anti-inflammatory, so it aids in the healing process as well. It's a very interesting feeling. If you haven't felt it, you've got to ask someone in pain, or if you're in pain, take the product. Like, for example, I have chronic back pain. I have a syringomyelia, a syrinx in my back from a car accident in 1997, and I will always have back pain. But when I take the Nyloxin, I know my back is still bad. I know I still have a problem, but I can function. I can handle it. It's not a problem. But because I know it, I don't re-injure that area. And we feel it's the same with the dogs and cats. They know not to go nuts. They know not to injure themselves if they have a problem, but now they can walk without that limb. Now they can do what they want to do. So I'm not worried about an elderly dog injuring himself because he feels so good on the pet pain away. He's just going to be able to function the way he wants to function. Okay? So let's see what else we have. We have kudos to India. Pet pain away sampling 0.2 ounce tubes. They can be taped to pet pain away brochures. All right, yeah. So Dusty Rhodes is saying he has some people that can sample. Oh, my stuff just disappeared. So certainly, talk to us if you have people that can sample. Then we'll talk to anyone that can provide that. Right now, we're not looking at pet pain away sampling yet. We're just looking at a Nyloxin gel. But I'm sure soon. Probably for pet pain away samples, we wouldn't do the rooted treat. Like I said, there'll be like little chewables. I'm imagining little dog bones, little tiny bones for dogs, maybe little tiny bells for cats. We could do like a chewable. That's something that would really lend itself to sampling. It would be really easy to make those 30 or 60 in a bottle, and then we could make little ones with 1 or 2 in a pouch, like a sachet that we could attach to a brochure. So that's probably the way we'll do it for Pet Pain Away, but we haven't been there yet. Okay. Someone's asking about an injectable for horses. We haven't really gone far into the horse market because cobra venom has a stigma attached to it when it comes to horse racing. Back in the 1960s, 1970s, they would inject cobra venom directly into the joints of the horses, and it would allow them to run faster and race, and it actually would they damage themselves. And so cobra venom was outlawed in horse racing, in professional horse racing. And even though we don't inject the cobra venom and we have an infinitesimal dose of it, it still has a stigma attached to it. So most people don't want to talk about cobra venom when it comes to horses. We do have an equine version of naloxone, which is a topical. It's basically the topical gel that we recommend for horses, but we haven't talked about an injectable or any of that because of the stigma attached to cobra venom in horses. Someone's asking about the military-strength naloxone and Cobroxin in the stores. We had announced military-strength naloxone last year. We got into the GSA last April, and they told us there was one step left for the final placement into the federal supply schedule, and they told us it would take 9 to 12 months. So it hasn't been 12 months yet. It's been really about 9 months. They tell me we're right on schedule. So my expectation is that sometime in the next couple of months, we'll have the final approval from the GSA that we're on the federal supply schedule and we're marketing to the U.S. government. When that happens, naloxone will go into APHIS and DECA, which are the stores and the military bases. They're kind of like big wholesale clubs like Sam's Club right on the military bases. Government purchasers will be able to purchase naloxone directly and will be able to supply the military strength, which is twice as strong as the extra strength, directly to active duty troops. I believe that could be a huge market for Nutrapharma for a variety of reasons. First of all, we know that active duty troops use a lot of opiates, and sometimes they use it without even the knowledge of their commanding officers, and we want to get them off those opiate drugs. Certainly we don't want them going into battle on opiate drugs. The other problem, the more pervasive problem, is the use of over-the-counter pain medication, especially Motrin. In fact, they call Motrin Ranger candy because the Special Forces and the Rangers pop Motrin like Tic Tacs. They use them all the time. It causes ulcers, stomach upset, and it also thins their blood, like many NSAIDs. So if they get wounded, they can actually bleed out. And so we'd love the military to adopt the military-strength naloxone instead of NSAIDs and the opiates. So we think it could really be a game changer for us, and it could be a game changer for the U.S. military. So like I said, we expect that to happen soon, hopefully in the next couple of months. Cobroxin for the stores, that's something that Lumaxa is moving forward with. Right now they're working on distribution, cost, things like that. So as it gets closer and closer, we'll have announcements. But Cobroxin, for those of you who don't know, was Nutrapharma's first over-the-counter pain medication. It came out in 2009, and by the end of 2010, our distributor had pretty much failed in their distribution contract, and the product was pulled off the shelves. We believe it could be a huge product if it goes back into the retail shelves, and of course Lumaxa would share in the retail sales of that product. So everybody would benefit. The weaker product would be in the stores. Lumaxa distributors would benefit from those sales. And then, of course, the stronger product, naloxone, will continue to be sold through Lumaxa. Someone asked about testimonials on naloxone and cancer pain. Yes, I mean, if you look at the 47 published clinical studies on cobra venom, these levels of cobra venom and pain, a great amount of them are in cancer pain. And cancer pain is visceral pain, is deep pain, is a different kind of pain than most of us are used to. And it was incredibly successful in treating cancer pain. So I've received dozens of testimonials with people that are on chemo, radiation, and using naloxone with their other regimens and saying that naloxone really made the difference. Now, I don't know if we can have those testimonials posted. I've heard them myself, but I'll make sure that we have some of those posted if they're not up now. Let's see, do we have printed material to share with vets? We do have the material we have now. We have certainly a brochure for Pet Pain Away, and that should be on the Pet Pain Away website. We do have several clinical studies that have been done in animals. I've supplied that to vets. What I'm trying to do now, and I announced this in a webinar about 6 weeks ago, we're trying to put together a medical professional kit for doctors, medical doctors for naloxone, and for veterinarians, a Pet Pain Away kit with some of the more pertinent clinical data, the review article on the use of cobra venom for the treatment of pain, the continuing education course that we did for pharmacists. Over 45,000 pharmacists took our continuing education course. So we're going to put together a kit that can be downloaded, but also printed up and supplied to doctors and vets. We've been working on it for a little while. It's probably going to be another few weeks that we'll have all the materials together, and then certainly have that available for download. And then maybe we do have distributors that have made printed material available to the distributors as well. So probably, I'd say in the next 2 to 4 weeks, that'll be available. Let's see. .com. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Shelley. Naloxone definitely helped my cancer patient reducing his other medications. He was calling it a miracle. Thank you. That's informing them of the medical advisory board. So we decided not to form an in-house medical advisory board. What we've done is there's a separate group of physicians, and they formed a company called Medvisory Consulting. And what Medvisory is a group of very high-end consultants, very high-end physicians, all of them incredibly prolific. They've written tons of articles, tons of research. And they're going to be a third-party group that's going to review all Nutrapharma's OTC products and all of Lumaxa's products, and basically provide their seal of approval. They'll look at it, and of course, I've already done that. I've looked at anything that Lumaxa is going to offer and made sure that it was something that was going to be safe and effective, and it was going to be marketed appropriately. So this group is put together. They're working on their website now. They're putting together their charters, and we expect, certainly in the next couple of months, to have them as our third-party medical advisory board. So keep looking for material that says Medvisory on it, and that'll be really big in the next year or so. People are asking about Dr. Gordon. He's on Nutrapharma's medical advisory board. Now, Nutrapharma's medical advisory board is different. It's mostly consisted of physicians, researchers that have worked with us in our clinical studies in the past. We have Ken from China, who's done a lot of the cobra venom work in animals. We have Mohammed Atassi, who did our EAE model. We have Dr. Flax, Michael Flax, who is the head of endodonty at Nova Southeastern School of Dentistry, and they're doing clinical research on cobra venom for dental pain, pre and post surgery. So these are some of the members of our medical advisory board. You can see them on the Receptipharm website at receptipharm.com. And we've just added Dr. Keith Gordon to the Nutrapharma Medical Advisory Board. So that's a little different than what we're doing for Lumaxa with Medvisory. Okay. Okay. I have vets asked about product liability considering we put in the website an amount of coverage. I think that's on. There's still approval on naloxone. I think our product liability information is on the regular distributor agreement, but Nutrapharma carries a $5 million product liability coverage, and Lumaxa is a rider on that, so any distributors are covered with the distribution of the product. So it's a $5 million policy. As the homeopathic, we really have no issues. We've never had any adverse experience reactions that were related actually to the product. And that's with over 300,000 units of Cobraxin sold, with hundreds of thousands of units of Nyloxin sold, and now with the launch of Pet Pain Away. But there is product liability coverage. Now, what's not covered is what would be known as off-label use. So if you make claims in the product that are not claims that we make, in other words, for the treatment of pain or inflammation, that wouldn't be protected under the product liability clause. But normal use, if you're recommending the product as labeled, if you're recommending the product as promoted, then all distributors are covered by Nutrapharma's product liability insurance. Okay. We have the naloxone seal of approval. Okay. I've answered all the questions I can see. Steve, do you see any other questions?
Come on, guys, this is your opportunity. We don't get Rik on that often. He's about to get busier and probably be out of the country here end of the month. So, you know, we may not get him back for a little while. So take your opportunity. We got him here for a few more minutes. And while you guys are drumming up a few more questions, and trust me, I know you have them because, you know, Shelly gets them, I get them, Keith's getting them, the company gets them. We all get these different questions. So, okay, here's some more questions coming in for you, Rik.
What's so nice about sponsoring pet supply stores? That's a Lumaxa type question. Steve, can you answer that?
Yeah. Well, basically, Gene, it's kind of on a case-by-case basis. It depends on if it's a franchise or if it's a mom-and-pop store, and you know, we kind of take those on a case-by-case basis. So all I can say is that if you have a store that you want to talk to, if you can get some information about, you know, is it a franchise or is it a single, you know, family store, just one unit there, or it may be a privately held store and they might have a couple locations, you know, just contact the company with a support ticket and let the company kind of take a look at it. We may be able to, you know, help you out with an answer on that, but it's kind of on a case-by-case basis, so.
Question is about testimonies on horses, and understand that we do have a product, equine naloxone, that we've sold to trainers. It's a mixture. It's a two-piece kit with DMSO and naloxone gel. We recommend rubbing that on the joints of the horses. It's a topical product, and we've gotten great testimonials on that. Also, in the past, we've had people use the naloxone spray directly just sprayed into horses' mouths, and we've gotten incredible testimonials from that. Not so in Pet Pain Away. The flavor of Pet Pain Away is a chicken gravy. It's a natural chicken gravy. It's hypoallergenic. The allergens are removed. So if anyone has a dog or a cat that's allergic to chicken, they can still use the Pet Pain Away. It's a hypoallergenic formulation. But horses don't like chicken. Horses are herbivores. They don't eat meat. And so we've gotten people who've tried the Pet Pain Away with horses, and they say horses just don't like the taste. So if we're going to make an oral product for horses, I mean, right now you can certainly use the naloxone spray in the horses. Just spray it right in their mouth, just 4 or 5 sprays a couple times a day. And we've gotten, like I said, incredible testimonials with that. But if we decide to move forward and have an oral product for horses, we're gonna have to reformulate it. We're gonna have to reflavor it. And that's something we will look for in the future. Okay, and someone's asking about regular extra strength spray in the mouth. Certainly either one's fine, but we know the one horse trainer I was talking to in Parkland, Florida, was using extra strength naloxone spray and getting incredible results with an older draft horse. Okay. Someone's asking about muscular. I haven't worked with. Multiple sclerosis is a completely different disorder than muscular dystrophy. Muscular dystrophy is there are physical changes to the muscles, and we're certainly not going to help that. But there is pain and inflammation associated with sufferers of muscular dystrophy, and certainly if they're on pain medication protocol, they're going to be better off using naloxone than whatever else they're using. So certainly for people with muscular dystrophy, the naloxone could be used for pain and inflammation, but it's not going to treat the muscle changes directly. Then you popped like other homeopathic supposed to shaken or activated? No. In homeopathics, when you choose homeopathics, it goes through a process called succussion, where it's shaken violently. That's already done in the production of naloxone. So no further shake. It's fully integrated. It's fully homogeneous. So you don't need to shake the product at all when you use naloxone spray or gel. And it's not going to change its efficacy. Let's see.
Rick, I had a question while we're waiting on the
Someone
next.
says, thank you, happy cause, the right horse to know. Yep.
Is the product, the naloxone product, or pet pain away for that matter,
Yes.
are they sensitive to heat?
Sensitive. We do recommend that all the products be stored in a cool, dry environment, basically room temperature. But the products are resistant, even in the current packaging, on heats as high as 120 degrees for longer periods of time. If it gets hotter than that, then we recommend that you put it into a cooler environment. And it's not because the product breaks down, because the product is tested at high temperatures and stability chambers, but the plastic that it's in will start to leach above 120 degrees. So we certainly recommend that you don't store it in your trunk or a hot garage. It's much better off being stored somewhere in your house or in air conditioning. Because if it gets above 120 degrees for longer periods of time, the plastic will start to leach into the product and it might decay some of its use. On the flip side, the products, all of our products can be frozen and defrosted and retain all of their activity. So if people live in Alaska, if they live in Canada, if they're worried about freezing, they don't have to worry about it. So even if the product freezes during shipment, it can be defrosted and it's still going to work fine.
Excellent information. All right. Well, anybody else?
These are great questions.
Yeah, they sure are. Yeah, these are great questions.
Does the pet pain away have the same shelf life as naloxone? Now, naloxone, we have real-time data going on 4 years and stability trials going out 5 years. With the pet pain away, we only have stability trials going out 2 years because it's a new product. So as we get more and more information, we know the product is at least good for 2 years. Products have an expiration date on it because the FDA does not require expiration dates on homeopathic products. So we don't put that on. But we still do stability trials and stability testing and what's called accelerated stability because we would just want to make sure all the products are going to be effective for the long term. So as I said, pet pain away is good for at least 2 years, and naloxone is good for at least 5 years. Candace is asking about a commercial or video showing how every pet owner needs pet pain away in their home as they never know when they'll need it. Every house that has a pet should have a tube of pet pain away. I certainly agree with that. I have to say I love the commercial that was done with pet pain away. That jingle stuck in my head, pet pain away, pet pain away, pet pain away, takes the pain away. I mean, it's like repetitious enough that I can't get it out of my head. So if you guys haven't seen the commercial on petpainaway.com or you haven't sent people to it, you have to. You have to send people to it. So again, you're asking why there's no expiration date on the products. It's because most homeopathic products, there's really so little in there that you can't even measure it with the technology we have today. There's such an infinitesimal amount of product in it. Now we can actually measure the cobra venom in our products, and we do that when we do our stability trials. But because most homeopathics, you can't measure an active ingredient, the FDA doesn't require stability testing and doesn't require expiration dates on homeopathic products. So because the FDA doesn't require it, we don't put it on. We do put lot numbers on everything so it can be tracked, and of course we can track every product we have to when it was manufactured and where it was manufactured, but expiration dates are not required. Okay, that's I answered all the questions so far. Steve, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. You know, I think you really kind of got us up to date on most things here with India and the Medical Advisory Board and upcoming products that you're working on. And any other NutriPharma things that you'd like to share with us as far as like how soon will you be able to get? Do you anticipate this year getting back to continuing the studies on the MS drug? Any of those kind of things you'd like to update us with, or?
Yeah, let me explain that a little bit. We turned off the clinical trials in 2009. And it seems, I really can't believe how long ago that actually was. But when we launched Cobroxin, the plan was to create a revenue stream and a war chest to be able to go back into the clinical pipeline, into clinical studies. So that just never happened because of the blow up with our Cobroxin distributor. Because it's been so long, it's now going on 5 years, we have an FDA consultant, and we're getting our arms around our intellectual property, and we're making a roadmap, a plan on how we're going to ramp up clinical research so that we can do what we really want to do, which is prove and license. We want to be able to prove that our drugs work in the indications we choose, and then license those indications out to large pharma companies. As an example, one of my favorite examples is the company Amylin. The company was, it was Amylin Pharmaceuticals. And Amylin Pharmaceuticals had a drug for diabetes that was originally derived from Gila monster venom. Someone figured out that when a Gila monster, which is a small lizard that's found in the desert in Mexico, when a Gila monster bit you, you would pass out. And the reason you passed out was extreme hypoglycemia. It basically ate up all your blood sugar. And researchers thought that might be good for diabetics, so they isolated that one protein, Exendin-4 or exenatide, and they made a diabetes drug out of it. And the company was anywhere from 18 to 50 cents a share. It was a penny stock, and they struggled for a while, but they got their drug through phase 2 clinical studies. And once they got through phase 2 clinical studies, Eli Lilly gave them $342 million for 50% of the domestic rights and 80% of the international rights to the drug. And that wasn't even approved yet. That was just through phase 2 studies. So their stock shot up, went right to $18 a share. Eventually, Amylin was purchased by another company, and that drug eventually got launched as Byetta, B-Y-E-T-T-A. So very similar story to ours. It's a drug from a venomous animal, and they proved themselves, and then they licensed it out. And we see that as something we can do sometime over the next 5 years, prove and license. So we certainly want to do MS, but we might start with a smaller condition. We've proven ourselves in other smaller diseases like AMN, adrenomyeloneuropathy, which is a leukodystrophy. That's a progressive condition, but we've had several patients who've used our drug, RPI-78M, and they improved ambulation. They could walk better using our drug. And this is a progressive, debilitating disease that just gets worse over time, so any improvement at all is a miracle. And we've seen patients improve ambulation when they used our drug. There's other autoimmune diseases we've studied, like myasthenia gravis, that might be a target for us. So we're going to be looking at some of these other conditions and see what is the lowest hanging fruit. What condition would be the fastest for us to prove and be able to license or come out with a marketable drug? And of course, as we decide on that, we're going to let people know. And this year, we'll be doing several beginning clinical studies, certainly phase 1s, maybe into phase 2s, and we'll be filing several pieces of document with the FDA showing which direction we're going to go in.
That's awesome. It's great stuff. There's a great question about Siva Life that Dr. Cook asked.
Well, I'm trying to see what I can read. I can see stock went up today. Yeah, there was a lot of trading today. Has there been any conflicts with any medications? Not really. Someone's asking about the Siva Life. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see Dr. Ron Cook. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I was head of product development for Rexall Showcase International, which eventually became Unicity Network. I made a lot of products for the Royal Numico family of companies, which was Rexall Sundown, Metrex, Worldwide Pure Protein, GNC. So I was a product formulator for all of those companies that were part of the Royal Numico family at the time. And I formulated a lot of weight loss products. I even formulated my own product called Trim Science, and I own the registered trademark for Trim Science and did some clinical studies with that product, which was a ghrelin inhibitor. So it prevented the buildup of ghrelin, which gave you a nice full feeling, and so it took your hunger away so you could control your appetite. So I love what they've done with Siva Slim. It makes sense. It's a product that's going to do exactly that. Basically, take away your hunger, give you a nice full feeling. But when used appropriately, it's going to allow you to lose weight in a safe manner, and that's the most important thing. We don't want to give someone incredibly strong stimulants and then just tell them to sit around and lose weight. Weight should be lost in an appropriate manner. With a proper diet, with an active life, with trying to increase activity. And increased activity could be as much as just taking a brisk walk. I mean, there's been studies that show that if you just walked a brisk walk 15 minutes a day, it would lower your stroke risk by as much as 30%. So we want people to be more physically active. We want them to be doing things. If they're in pain and they can't be physically active, start using naloxone and get more physically active. But if you're trying to lose weight, Siva Slim is going to be one of those products that's going to be a safe, effective way to do so. And there'll be more information coming in out of that, especially from the Medical Advisory Board. Let's see. Yeah, Frank is correct. He says Lumaxa runs products by me. Certainly, I've seen all these products. I've seen the research behind the products. I visited the manufacturing facility. So with my experience in manufacturing, I want to make sure that everything's made perfectly, is made appropriately. Oh, that's fine. Steve Hinton. When Rex remembers you, gave him a sample, and it's helping his chronic pain. That's fabulous. That's the thing about network marketing is you become a family when you have a network marketing companies that are around for a long time. And sometimes there's nothing you can do. The corporations change, companies get bought and sold. And the worst thing is that it breaks up families. All these people that I knew, I stayed in their houses. I traveled with them. We did meetings together and webinars. So it's always very sad when companies kind of get bought, sold, and break up. But I do remember a lot of people from Rexall and Unicity. I remember a lot of people from Wayora. And I think I've kept a pretty good reputation with all of those companies. So if you talk to any distributors from any of those companies, certainly tell them that I'm working with Lumaxa and I'm making sure these products are the best they can possibly be.
Well, Rick, I think we've come to the top of the hour. We've enjoyed your presentation tonight, your updates, and of course, thank you for taking the time to answer all these questions about the products and about NutraPharma. It's such an exciting time that we're going into right now with all these developments going on with India, Japan, and upcoming new product with the Zeolite product, and Pet Pain Away just launched now and rolling, and it's flying off the shelves, and people are excited about it. And I tell you, it's just going to be a phenomenal year with 2015. We're so excited, to be partnering here with NutraPharma once again. So thank you, Rick, for taking the time this evening. I know you had to cut your time quickly with your daughter's game to be here, and we appreciate your commitment.
Steve, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'll just say one thing. I said this before. 2014 was a watershed year for NutraPharma, and I think it was a watershed year for Lumaxa. It was a time that we got our act together. We put everything together to line up 2015. This is going to be a fabulous year for everybody. We have every variety of different ways. So I want people to just keep the pedal to the metal. Keep sharing these products with everyone, share these stories with everybody, and we'll do everything from our side to help everybody be successful in this. I'm very, very excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, and ladies and gentlemen, for your information. This webinar tonight was recorded. We'll have it up on our YouTube channel by tomorrow so that you'll have it for playback. For all the people that wasn't able to make it on tonight, you can forward on the link to our YouTube video, and they can listen to this information, very important information and updates from Rick. And Rick, let us know when you come back from India, all your excitement there and what's happening. We'll try to invite you back when your schedule allows next month, maybe in March when you get back from India.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay,
thank you, everybody.
And guys, before we got another great webinar tonight, thank you for being here. We're going to have our training coming up on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'll be going over a number of our enhancements to the comp plan matrix, doing Q&As and so forth to update all of you that are brand new, bring you up to speed on our comp plan enhancements and so forth. And we will be back Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So with that, God bless. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody, and keep promoting the best brand in the industry, Lumaxa, to all your friends, neighbors, and people you come in contact with about our pain relief products, Nylox and Pet Pain Away. And we're changing people's lives, guys. That's what it's all about. Have a great night. We'll go out with a little happy song here, and the chat will stay open here for about 5 more minutes.